I cannot believe it's been over a year since I uprooted my life and moved to a random jungle in Australia to set myself up in a brand new guitar making workshop. This is home and this is where I build my guitars, and honestly I absolutely love it here. And so today I'm going to finally show you around this workshop properly, which makes this, I think, the third workshop tour in not a very long space of time at all really. So if anything though, that means I have become the queen of streamlining my tools and my processes down to only what's strictly necessary in my eyes to build the perfect guitar, or as perfect as I can make them. But the plot thickens. Instead of just showing you the workshop as a normal workshop tour would, I thought I'd show you guys through the eyes of someone really special to me. Just kidding, don't be silly. Pickle's busy today. My dad. He's braved his fears of spiders, snakes and long plane journeys to come visit me, and he's been here for a couple days already, but he hasn't yet properly seen where I spend all of my time. And this is also the first time he's ever appeared on the channel, so since he's a keen woodworker and a musician by trade and a man with Tourette's, he's gonna fit right in. He even built my brother and I a treehouse when we were kids, so maybe that's why all roads led to here for me. Now before we go in, we have one more quick disclaimer. I have not tidied the workshop for this video. This is the honest version and it's a little chaotic, as it should be as a real functioning workshop. So to save my dignity, I will pop in some shots of the treehouse of when it's at its best and when I have tidied up, just to be fair to the space. For now, let's go get Dad and show him around.
Thank you. Nice croissant.
We have croissant.
Nice croissant.
Okay.
This is amazing. It's amazing. When did you get here? I mean, how long has it been?
It's been over a year now.
Oh, I've forgotten. This is amazing. Treehouse Studio.
There's a very important person who's not here today, as we know, and she normally sits in the tree, and you will meet her when she's ready to meet you.
The Pickle family.
Pickle family.
Oh, lovely.
So this is where I barbecue things.
This is gorgeous, isn't it?
Baby barbecue where I eat. I cook everything out here because it's so small inside, and I've given over real estate where the kitchen should be to power tools.
Okay. Let's see inside.
One thing. If you know the channel, you'll know that I have Tourette's. This is from where I got that.
Oh yeah.
No twitching on the tone wood.
You'll tell me what the tone wood is in a minute, won't you? Where are we starting?
So we're going to start in this corner. So this is the table saw.
What do you actually do on this machine?
So I make fretboards with it. Okay. So I've got this jig here which I made. This is a drill bit, which is actually an index pin.
When you say jig, what actually is a jig?
It facilitates the making of something else.
All right. What's this enormous looking vacuum cleaner thing here?
I'm so glad you asked. This is a dust extractor, and I get a lot of people asking me how I keep it so clean in here, and it's because of this. So I have access points on my power tools where I plug in the extraction to.
Oh, see, that's really clever, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got my shooting board here.
Shooting's planing, isn't it?
Shooting is planing,
yeah. Not
bang bang.
No.
I have this on the table saw just to save space. So when I'm moving this around, it doesn't fall off the edge. So I have these locator pins there to stop that from happening, because in a smaller workshop, you don't want anything to be loose. And this is obviously a very small workshop.
Can I talk a bit about the wood? Because I see you've got all sorts of different types of wood here. You've got, is this mahogany, is it?
No, that is Tasmanian blackwood, and that
it?
was sent to me by one of my Patreon people called Mike. Shout out to Mike. He sent me that to make potentially a neck from at some point. The astute among you will also realise that next to the wood stash, I now have a sofa, which came as a result of my dad having a stern word with me about work-life balance. So this is English sycamore.
Is it really?
And this is...
very heavy.
It is heavy. It does seem to be that this video is just Dad picking things up and saying...
It's very heavy. God, it's heavy. It's really, really heavy.
Yeah,
really
I feel like this whole video is Dad picking things up and saying they're heavy. I'm sure a lot of you guys are dads. Is this something you do when you go around your daughter's house?
Anyway, that's really, I mean, you've got all these sorts of different types of wood, and you've got one here. What's that? So
this is cedar, and I use this for my head and tail blocks.
Beautiful.
Do we let the Tourette's man touch the cedar? That is a clamping call for my bindings. So I'll laminate them with polyurethane glue, and then I'll put strips of wood there, glue, sandwich it, clamp it, and it clamps the bindings together.
Got you. And what, this is just tape, is it?
That's tape to stop the glue sticking.
Okay. This looks like plywood. Is that just plywood?
This is plywood, this is marine grade ply.
Which you don't use for guitar.
No, I don't use it in the structure, I use it to make jigs because it's quite reliable.
Oh, right, yeah.
So that's really nice ply, get that from Bunnings. This is the dehumidifier, which is currently off. Do you know what relative humidity is?
I'm not madly up on it, no. But I mean, basically it stops the place drying out.
Yeah, so wood expands and contracts because essentially a plank of wood is essentially a group of straws. The end grain absorbs wood, sucks it in like a straw, and causes havoc to that wood. Humidity, if there's a stable humidity, the wood is not taking in excess or drying out excess moisture.
Right.
So we need to keep it at a stable humidity, otherwise all of that wood is going to expand and contract without predictability. And what happens then is you get cracking, and it's not good for wood long term, which you will know because you're a woodworker.
I am a bit, yes.
What would you like to make in here if you could?
Oh, I've always wanted to make a bow-fronted chest of drawers, but I haven't ever got round to it. It's a sort of classical architectural type of woodwork, or something a bit shakerish, like a shaker table or something like that, with a bit sort of very clean lines. But I haven't got a workshop at home, and I'm just about to move house, so I'm hoping to have one at some point.
We need to get this man a workshop.
I'll get one, don't worry.
Moving on.
Right, okay, so we've got here, by the way, I love this. This is amazing. I haven't seen anything like this before.
This is Rob's, plain Rob, friend of the channel, who's holding the camera.
It's really nice. It's beautiful. It's beautiful design. It's gorgeous.
It's good, isn't it?
It's really clever. So now, what do I not recognise here? Oh, look, what's this?
So this is when I passed 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
And they give you one of those?
Which I feel like I told you at the time, but
I can't remember. I don't think I've seen it in the flesh.
No, I don't.
Or in the metal. It's amazing.
What else have we got here? We've got some digital calipers.
Yeah, I've recognised that. Planes I recognise, obviously.
Planes we
They're lovely
recognise.
little tiny planes. Look at this tiny little thing.
Got a lot of stuff from StewMac in here, who we love. This is fret tang, nipper.
Nail clippers. So what does this do?
It cuts the tang off the end of a fret wire. My dad doesn't play the guitar, so
I
it's
don't.
kind of...
I'm terrible at the guitar. Just leave it at nail clippers, I think.
Then I've got my clamp rack, which I think that you can appreciate as something very exciting.
It's very OCD, darling.
These are called duck clamps. They're not called duck clamps, but I call them duck clamps because they look like a duck.
They do. Yeah, they do, don't they? Swan clamp.
This is my woodworking joints poster. I really like it because it brings a nice colour scheme into the workshop, but it's also relevant to my job.
Yeah, but you hardly like to forget how to do them, are you?
No, but it's hard. Moving on.
Oh yeah, sure. So this I recognise. Obviously, it's very smart looking drill.
This is a digital drill, so you can change the RPM just by twiddling a wheel,
good.
which is awesome.
And you can do the depth, can you?
You can do the depth.
That's
There's a depth
really
stop
clever.
on there.
I like that, yeah.
Isn't that cool? I've got a speaker in case I want to bring the tunes. And this holds all of my other miscellaneous jigs. So I've got my sharpening stuff in here. We've got a Japanese saw.
That's
now,
very
can
nice.
you tell me the difference between a Japanese saw and a Western style saw?
No.
Japanese sawing is a pull stroke. It cuts on the pull stroke, so the teeth are the other way. A Western style saw is a push. I prefer the pull, personally. It's easier to keep your body in a line like this. And we used this when we made a box together, a dovetail box.
I remember.
Yeah, I've got various scale length tools to facilitate my fretboard and setup processes, plus a drawer of like screws and countersinks and that kind of thing.
This is a router,
This is a router.
as opposed to a router. Right.
Indeed.
Okay. Very cool.
This is a really, really good workshop space, small workshop space saving hack. Is a magnetic strip on the side of a thing that's already taking up space. It's got all my rulers on it. When I'm at the bench, I can just grab it, use them, pop them back, no problem.
Now I can understand how useful this is because I've got the same thing with my cooking knives in the kitchen at home. Very useful.
Good. I would hate to have cooking knives there because imagine me
Yeah, but you're there.
going into the
sure.
bedroom and...
But mine's higher up in the kitchen and it's a completely different thing.
Yes, that's true. Anyway, rulers.
Very good.
Now, as I sit here to edit, I feel I should address why I'm sometimes shooting in this video from the point of view of Pickle. And it's because I recently have actually acquired my own flying Kookaburra camera. While it's not actually attached to Pickle, it is a really cool bit of kit from our sponsor today, HoverAir. Not only is it small enough not to take any precious real estate in my, as you can see, very small workshop, I mean it literally fits in my pocket, but it's super lightweight as well, which means that I could take it on a hike to show you a bit more about where I live. As it's just so beautiful around here, I felt like it was really good context to have as part of this workshop tour. This is also the world's first flying camera to operate in 8K, which as a non-digital maker, I just find bizarre to get my head around. It also allowed me the flexibility to think about travel-oriented videos to bring you some content beyond the workshop, which I'm tentatively going to try for you guys later in the year. No spoilers, but it's opened up a few doors to what's possible. Not to mention all the cool trees I've been able to check out since I've had this thing. It's got over 15 built-in auto flight modes, and it's just a one-button takeoff. And you guys know I love to idiot-proof things for myself in the workshop. This really is a continuation of that on the outside, which we love for me. Especially as a solo creative without a regular camera person to help me, I feel like I've just hired a little workshop elf to do the hard work for me, because someone doesn't have opposable thumbs to earn their keep. Make sure you guys check out the HoverAir range at the link in the description. Let's get back to the tour. Let's move on to the workbench.
So this is presumably the engine room of the whole thing. This is where it all happens, is it?
Correct. This is a guitar I'm working on at the moment. This is Tasmanian tiger myrtle, which is a really beautiful wood.
That's an amazing grain. Look at that grain. Incredible. It's really beautiful, isn't it? And this is myrtle, is it?
No, this is spruce.
Spruce.
So it's nice and white, and
Beautiful.
We've got the back strip of spruce as well.
There's so much precision. I mean, even in this small bit, look at all this. Look at how everything is so tight. I mean, look at this. You presumably you've glued that together.
Yeah, that's a joint.
That is amazing.
We've also got this...
oh, that's fair. Is that a pickle feather?
No, pickles are kookaburra.
Sorry, what's that?
Cockatoo.
Now tell me, I want to know that's great. This is more tool drawers or what?
This is more tool drawers. What I do with these is I carve guitar necks, usually. But I also... Actually, I kind of think that's the only thing I use the files for, but I need a broad range of them, obviously, because... you can never have too many files. These are a continuation of files, but these are more sandpaper files. So this is what I'm getting.
Beautifully made.
Yeah, I got them from Crimson Guitars, which are a really great company. Ben from Crimson has his own YouTube channel. He's amazing, and he sells these beautifully made.
But this it feels almost like it's sort of Japanese, it's got a sort of Japanese.
I think it probably
influence.
is. Yeah, definitely. I love Japanese tools. In here, we've just got odds and ends. This is the chisel drawer. We've got some Japanese chisels, which are my absolute favorite. I use these for absolutely everything. They're definitely in need of a good sharpen right now.
Why are they so good?
A design thing on a Japanese chisel versus a Western chisel, whereby Japanese chisels have a hollow underneath the back of it. So when you're flattening the back of a chisel, like you have to do when you sharpen a chisel, this means that you only have to do the top bit to flatten it. If you had to do the whole back of it, it would take you a lot longer, and it might not be flat. So this hollow underside here is a really good way of troubleshooting, sharpening, taking a really long time.
Good idea.
And this is a brace chisel. It's specifically designed for guitar making, because when you carve a brace, you don't want to taper it all the way down. You want to have a level surface at the end of the brace to tuck into the rim assembly of a guitar.
I mustn't have a twitch with this thing.
Oh.
Okay.
What do you think these do?
These ones, are these Chinese? No, they're not.
These are for reinforcing the guitar neck, because obviously...
Oh, really?
The guitar neck is under a lot of stress from the strings. Obviously, it's a bit more work to do it, but in a high-end instrument, they will really dramatically increase the stiffness of the neck.
What's this made of?
Carbon fibre.
Is it really?
Sorry, carbon graphite, not carbon fibre.
Graphite. I mean, it must be very tough.
It is very tough, and it's an absolute pain to cut into.
Cool.
Cabinet scraper, you probably recognise that.
Absolutely.
And then we have...
oh, you've got the plane drawer.
The God tier plane,
amazing.
which we love.
What's this? There's a whole new area here. Is that part of the jig thing?
That's a jig.
Okay.
That is for routing binding. So I have a jig set up, which is in that lower drawer there as well, whereby I put a palm router on top of the guitar, and the guitar's in a cradle, and I move it round to route the binding.
And then here is the old bandsaw, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
I know you're very jealous of.
I'm very jealous.
This is my bandsaw. I don't use it that much, weirdly, but it is definitely a necessary thing for a workshop, no matter what size.
Do you use it when you're cutting out the actual guitar top?
Yeah, I use it for that stuff. That's pretty much milling timber, milling braces, and cutting out guitar tops and backs is essentially its workhorse mode. Right. And behind you we have the kitchen, which we're not going to go into because it's messy.
Studio kitchen. What she's trying to say is that behind us we have a kitchen which is very, very dull. There's nothing very much in it except a bit of tomato growing stuff. There's a couple of glasses that need washing up. There is a breadboard. There's an old mop sitting on the floor. I've tried to encourage parental guidance, but I don't seem to get anywhere with it.
It's a side duck, who I've had since I was a baby.
Hello, side duck.
You remember cider?
I do.
Okay, good.
Right.
This is the jig by which I bend my guitar sides. I also have a hand bending iron that does the same job, but this is really, really good. This is from StewMac. They gave it to me a couple of years ago. So these are specifically designed for my guitar shape.
Right.
If I have a particularly troublesome timber, I will do it by hand manually on this first to make sure the curves are relaxing before I whack it in there.
Okay. I see.
Got my camera equipment in there. I've got jigs for example, the bandsaw. I've got that right next to me so I can just reach in there and grab it. In there I've got bits of materials, especially samples like the copper I use. I just keep in there at hand when I'm doing tests and that kind of thing. A bit of a mix in here. But what I really want to talk to you about is the drum sander.
Right.
So this is really cool and it's currently in the corner because I'm not using it. Again, I don't use it that frequently. But when I do, it's a godsend. I use it for thicknessing backs, thicknessing tops. Back strips, for example, this is really good because the grain is on the side and it's too fragile at coming in at about 0.6 of a mil to actually plane because it might break. So this is a really good alternative for that. Little jobs like that, it's absolutely perfect. So this is something kind of cool. What do you reckon this is? It's also on wheels.
Well, I don't know.
like
It's sort of, you've got bits of wood stored in the bottom. It's sort of wood storage device, is it?
No, it's a go-bar deck.
Oh, that's clear. Yeah, absolutely.
What's
a go-bar deck?
A go-bar deck is a system by which I can clamp components onto my guitar tops and backs within a radius. So it's a really ancient system.
Oh, you showed me this. I've seen this.
Yeah.
That's really clever, isn't it?
So this surface goes here and there's something under here. If I want to clamp that in there.
Oh, I see. Right. Blimey.
This is Tasmanian oak.
Very nice.
My ideal would be some cedar, but I haven't managed to find any yet that I want to sacrifice.
Nice.
An interesting twitch there.
Nice smell. And underneath you've got the...
Underneath we've got my grinding wheel.
That's right.
We've got my palm sander, I think that's what it's called, a sander. And then we've got the radius dishes under there as well. So that is, I actually think that's everything.
It is,
what do you reckon?
It's brilliant. And it's amazing how you've managed to sort of... I mean, it's not a huge space.
No,
but
it's
tiny. It feels quite spacious in spite of that. And you've got all the gear. I mean, I think it's fabulous. It's also the most amazing place, isn't it?
There's also a bedroom in this house, but maybe we won't show you that. Bit weird. This is the main room. This is where I live.
Thank you for showing me around.
Now you must meet Pickle. You know, as someone who is on probably like their 5th workshop move, I would love to sit here and tell you that this is going to be permanent. But the reality is, being a millennial is complicated with mortgages and it's complicated to put roots down, I think, for anyone in my generation, let alone somebody who does a creative job at the expense of perhaps having stability around that stuff. So it is a complicated situation. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. When you're at the behest of a landlord and that kind of thing, it's understandable if everything has to change very quickly. However, I have loved showing you guys around. I feel like I've built something really special here, and for as long as I can control, this will be home and this will be where I build the guitars. So I hope I won't be doing another one of these videos anytime soon, but I just don't know. As usual, if you want to see some behind the scenes stuff like weekly videos about process deep dives and that kind of thing, Patreon's your place to go. Otherwise, please do hit that bell, hit that subscribe if you want to see more from me, wherever I may be. Thank you for watching. It's been so nice to have my dad on board as well. He's gone now, which is sad, but you know, he has gigs to do. I have guitars to make and life goes on. So I'll see you next time, guys. Catch you soon and look after yourselves. Thanks for watching. Bye.